Hey guys, so if you're watching this video, you are doing your Friday lesson plans, which is my math review for the week. We have been doing, or we started topic 16 this week, which talks about times, graphs, and data. So I'm going to be doing a review from your Monday through Thursday lessons and just kind of going over some of your vocabulary words. I'm going to be giving you your answers to your math worksheets that you've been working on this week. And then I'll end it by doing a little bit of game questions, asking you guys some questions. You could pause my video and see if you can figure out the answers to it, okay? So I'm gonna get straight into it. The first thing that you guys should have done was you should have made your clock. Now, this is what I gave you guys in your Tuesday folder, so hopefully you guys watched the video. I think there was like a white paper, a pink paper, and then this like little metal clip that you guys were supposed to connect. And so the first thing I kind of want to do is just review the clock. If you did not do your clock, I want you to pause my video and I want you to go watch, I think it was this week's review on my YouTube channel. And it's like the last 20 minutes of the video. I basically walk you guys through the steps of making this clock. The clock is really just a hands-on activity, gets you guys to understand how time works. It's also a really good tool for checking your work. So I understand that a lot of you guys can tell me what time it is by looking at the hour hand and the minute hand, but it doesn't hurt for you guys to have this clock available so you can check your work by checking the minutes behind it. Okay, so if you don't have this done, pause my video and go complete that right now, okay? Everyone else, so you guys should have this clock. And in my video, I mentioned that I colored my hour hand pink. And the reason why I did that was I wanted to make sure that if I'm using the hour hand, I know that I'm looking at the pink paper. And if I'm using the minute hand, I know that I need to flip over and look at the white paper, okay? So the biggest thing that I always kind of like to review when we're talking about time is going over how to figure out which one's the hour hand and which one is the minute hand. And my favorite way of teaching it is by writing the word hour and writing the word minute. Let me show you guys. Okay, so I have the word hour and I have the word minute. Now, which word is longer? You probably should have said the minute hand. Well, your minute hand is definitely a longer word, and then your hour hand is a shorter word. So that's how I always like to remember it. Is hour is a shorter word, so that's where you look at the shorter arrow or the shorter hand on the clock. And then the minute is definitely a longer word. So then that's how you know that the longer hand on the clock is the minute hand, okay? So just like you guys can see here on my clock, that the hour hand is shorter than the minute hand. So this is definitely going to come in handy. Where's my clock going? Sorry. This is definitely going to come in handy with figuring out, obviously this one actually says the word hour and minute, but when you guys were looking on your workbook pages, it does not have the word hour and minute written down. So the way that you can remember it is hour is a shorter word, so the hand for hour is smaller, and then the word minute is a longer word, so that's where that hand is longer, okay? So that's how I always like to remember it, is this way. Hour is shorter, minute is longer. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out your clock. I'm gonna just spend some time reviewing the whole lesson. This one's probably gonna be a little bit longer just because this is a brand new topic for you guys, but we're gonna get through it. It's gonna be fine. You guys actually been doing really good. I've been checking out your lessons. A lot of you guys have been doing really good on the time. Remember, if any point, if you guys are struggling with it or if you're not understanding, just have you or your parents send me a message and I'll send you a Zoom link and then we'll just kind of do a one-on-one lesson, okay? All right, so we know that a clock is broken up into 12 numbers. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So those numbers right here represent, in this case, the hour, okay? So if, for example, if I had my hour hand pointing here, then it would be 10 o'clock, 10 something, 10, in this case, it's 10:30, but we're gonna get through it, okay? So when you guys are working with minutes, we know that there are 60 minutes within an hour. So it takes this hour hand, let's just say my hour hand is pointing to the 12, and then let's show, it's so hard to do it with a mirror. And then let's say that it is 12 o'clock, okay? My hour hand and my minute hand are pointing to the 12. It's gonna take 60 minutes for this minute. It's going to take 60 minutes for this minute hand to get all the way back to the top of the clock. That is why there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. It takes the minute hand 60 minutes for it to get back to the 12, back to the O clock, okay? So it's a total of 60 minutes. So 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, okay? Now, the reason why we have it broken up into the back papers, which I'm gonna get to, is each number represents 5 minutes, okay? So all of you guys know how to count by 5. We've been doing this since day one. So you know that 1 represents 5, and I'm going to go through it, okay? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60. So that's where the 60 minutes come from. So this little slot right here, if the hour hand at all is, or I'm sorry, if the minute hand is at all around the 6, it is anywhere between 30 minutes, and then the next one would be 35 minutes, okay? So every number represents 5. So if you guys are ever confused, and let's say that my hour hand is on the 12 and my minute hand is on the 3, a strategy that you can always do is, if you don't have obviously your clock, is put up the number 3, and each of those fingers count by 5. So we have 5, 10, 15. So this time is 12, 15. And the way that I'm gonna check my work is flip it over, and I do know that the 3 represents the 15. So this right here shows it's 12, 15, okay? So that's pretty much how you're gonna be doing your clock. I know that I kind of wanted to go over your vocabulary words, so let me go ahead and share my screen really quickly. Okay, so your vocabulary words this unit is hour. So remember we talked about the hour hand right here. Now your hour, an hour is 60 minutes. We talked about that. We're good to go. Now your minute hand is the longer hand, and there are 60 minutes in 1 hour, and that's just repeating what it says up here. Now, half hour. And I'm going to stop sharing because I kind of want to go into this. Last topic, math, we talked about breaking up shapes into halves and into quarters and thirds. I think that's what we did, right? So what I kind of want you guys to think about is the shape of a clock is a circle, right? It's a full circle. Let me see if I could just write it on here. Okay, so I'm kind of pausing and doing the work as I go so I don't waste the time. So if I have a circle, I can break that circle into halves, right? So I took a circle, I cut it in half. So I have 1 half here and 1 half here. So this mark right here, where my line end, is the halfway mark. So if it starts here and it gets in the hand, so I'm talking about like the hands of the clock. If the hand of the clock starts here and it moves down and stops here, it has reached the halfway mark of the circle. So another way of you saying when you have your minute hand pointing to the 6, just like I have mine right here, is it's halfway to the hour. It's half of an hour. So it's gone from here, from the 12 all the way to 6, and that's been half hour, half of the hour, because it takes a whole circle. It has to go from start at the 12 and has to end back at the 12 for it to be a full hour. If it only reaches here, that means it's been half of it. So the way that I like to remember that is to remember that that line represents 1 half, or we're even going to write out the word half. Okay? So that's what they mean by half an hour, okay? So it's been half of that halfway mark, okay? And you guys should know this because we learned about this last unit or last topic for math, okay? So that's the hour. So the hour hand, and I'm just gonna read their definition on here, says the hour hand is the short hand on a clock. It shows the hour, okay? So here's a long hand, here's the shorter hand, so they're pointing to this little one that represents the hour hand. So with the hour hand, you're going to say the number right here, which is 4, and then the minute hand represents how many minutes it's at. So in this case, I know that the 12 represents 60, but remember when you're talking about time, you wouldn't say 460. That doesn't exist. After 59, you would say these double zeros, which represent o'clock. Okay, so in this case, this time shows 4 o'clock. Okay, the minute hand is the long hand on a clock, and it shows the minutes. And remember, each of those numbers represent the number 5, so you got to count by 5. So in this case, the hour hand, and we're going to get into this, is between the numbers 4 and 5. So because it has not yet reached 5, we're going to say 4. So it hasn't reached that finish line to get to number 5. So right now my hour hand is 4, and then the minute hand is on the 6. So you're going to hold up 6 fingers, and each of those fingers represent 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the time here shows 4:30, and it shows it right there. Okay. When we talk about time, because we have 24 hours in a day and the clock only has 12 numbers, that's 12 represents one half of the day, and then another 12 represents another half. So 2 times during the day, you're going to see it say maybe 7 o'clock. You might see 7 o'clock and it's morning time, or you might see 7 o'clock and it's nighttime. And that's where we're using an abbreviation such as the AM, and then eventually we're going to talk about down below the PM, okay? The half of the day from midnight to midday. So if it's midnight, which you guys are usually sleeping during that time, so midnight, that dark part of the day, up until technically like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Usually we're getting back in from lunch around that time when we were at school. So from midnight until lunchtime ends is considered AM. That's in the morning, okay? And it says the half of the day from midnight to midday is considered AM, sorry. And then they give an example of something you would do during the AM. I ate breakfast at 8 a.m. So a lot of you guys are getting up at 8 a.m. now, because usually we would start school at 8:05 a.m. But they're just giving an example of something that you would do during the AM, okay? Now PM is the half of the day from midday, so from 12 o'clock in the afternoon until midnight, okay? So that's usually the time where you guys have the last part of the school day, and then it's getting into like your nighttime. So where you usually would go home, you would definitely want to have dinner, maybe brush your teeth and get ready for bed, and that's a lot of times when you're going to be sleeping, okay? So PM represents like the mid-afternoon nighttime part of the day, okay? Something that you would do during the PM is I went to sleep at 8 p.m. So you could see the difference between 8 a.m. is eating breakfast, so a morning thing, and then going to sleep at 8 p.m., which is a night thing. So you can always remember AM as the morning time, like the early part of the day, and then PM is like the later part of the day, okay? Let's see, let's keep going. Now, I'm going to get into this in just a second, but we're going to be talking about something called quarter past, half past, quarter to, and then I'm going to stop there for right now. Now, let me stop my share. On your clock, and this is why it's super important that you guys made your clock. Let's see if I can move these. You're going to see that the clock is broken up into quarters. Now, a little bit of a recap, because you guys should already know this. A quarter is a fourth of a piece. We learned this last 3 weeks ago, okay? So remember, my clock is the shape of a circle. It's a 2D shape, right? Okay, here's my circle. It's terrible, sorry. So if I break my circle into halves, that means I have 2 parts. So here is my half, right? Here's one half, and here's my second half. Now, if I want to break my circle into quarters, I'm going to have 4 pieces. Quarter, like the way that you guys can remember quarter, we've already talked about this, is quarter, the number quarter would be like 4 parts. So there's 4 quarters in a dollar. That's something that we've talked about when we talked about money a couple months ago, right? So quarter is 4 pieces. So you actually will find that your clock is broken up into 4 pieces, okay? So here is your quarter. You have 1/4, another fourth, a third fourth, and a fourth fourth. So there are 4 pieces that make this a quarter. So this is a quarter of a piece, a quarter of a piece, a quarter of a piece, and a quarter. And the way that you can remember quarter is it's 1/4. And remember, the 4 at the bottom tells you how many pieces it's cut into, okay? Now, on your clock, they actually broke it into, and I know that my minute and my hour hand are in the way, but you could see that they broke this into the halfway mark, and then they broke this into the quarters, okay? So this line right here represents the half, and they even say half past. And the reason why they're using these is when some people are talking, they're not going to say, oh, it's 12:30. Sometimes they might say it's a quarter past 12. So there's just other ways of saying like the time. You don't have to just stick to the numbers. Sometimes they use like fancier thing. That's how I usually say it, but you won't really hear a lot of people use these types of terms, it's usually just a quick way of just saying it's 10:36 in the morning, a.m. But it is kind of important to know this, because if someone does say it, you don't want to be confused. You want to understand what's going on. So if you're using half of the clock, you can use the word half past, or you might say a quarter. So you have right here that there is a quarter of the clock. So I might even write that in for you guys so you can see. So right here is the quarter. So you can kind of see where they cut it into that quarter. So that quarter represents this right here. And I can even show it to you. Okay, so if my 12 is up here and my 3, this whole part right here is considered a quarter. And I'll even kind of color it in as best as I can with my whiteboard marker. So this right here is the quarter. So whenever the minute hand is in this range, you can say a quarter past. Whenever you have 4, 5, 6, so here's another quarter. I think I brought any extra. I do. So if the minute hand is anywhere in this quarter, you can also continue to say a quarter past. Okay, so right here, I'm going to say the word past. I might even write the word quarter past. Give me a second. Let me pause this. Okay, so here's my half of my clock. So half of the clock is from 12 to 6. Anything that falls in this minute hand, you can use the words quarter past. So here's 1 quarter, here's another quarter. And when it gets to this, you can actually use the word half past. Now, when you get into this part of the clock, which will be from 7 to 12, instead of saying past, you're going to say till. That's because you've passed the halfway mark, and now you are counting down the minutes to the next hour. So let me show you guys that, okay? Okay, so I made the clock. Anything that's in the red area is like the second part of that hour. So it's past that halfway. So this is where you're going to use the quarter till. Till is a shorter way of saying the word until. So quarter until the next hour. So we just use this instead of saying, for example, instead of me saying, let me show you. If I was to say it is, the hour hand is on the 1 and the minute is on the 4. Remember, hour, say the number, 1. Minute, you put up 4 fingers and then count by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So it is 1:20. And I checked my work, okay? So instead of me saying 1:20, I could figure out, okay, well, the minute hand is considered by the 4, and I'm going to look at this clock and say, okay, the 4 is considered the quarter past. So you can say, you can tell me that you're going to be using the word past. So I could say it's 20 minutes past 1 o'clock. If it was in the full on quarter range, which is the 3, we talked about the 3 being like the part that makes it the quarter part. You could, instead of saying 1:15, you could tell me it's a quarter past 1. So this is where you're telling me that whatever it is past that hour, okay? But when you get into the second part of the clock, you're going to be kind of counting down to the next hour instead of counting down past the hour. So for example, if now my clock is, and then we're going to actually do a quick review. If my clock is at the 1 and then the 6, remember the 6 represents the 30, so you could tell me it's 1:30, or you could tell me it's half past 1 o'clock, okay? Or you could even tell me, I think I said 1:30, right? Well, when it starts moving into this, sorry, other way, into this part of the clock, you guys can actually start using words until. So you could tell me it's on the 1 and this is moving to the 9. Remember, this is the quarter mark. You could tell me it's a quarter, and it's right now it's 1 o'clock and it's almost 2. We're about to get to the 2 because 60 minutes are almost coming up. You could tell me it's a quarter till 2. Okay, you can also tell me it's 1:45, but you could start using other words. So just remember that, and even if you kind of want to use your clock marker, they have the words for you. So here's half past, they have quarter before, quarter until, that's the word that I've been using. On this part of the clock, you have quarter past and quarter after. So you guys can start using fancier words like that, okay? So it doesn't hurt for you guys to make sure that you're using your clock and then checking out how they broke it up into quarters for you. And then this is another good way of remembering it, okay? So now what I want to do is I'm going to get into each lesson, going over some of the things I felt were kind of important, and then I'm going to give you guys your answers, okay? Give me 1 second. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to be going over 16-1. If you guys want to pull out your workbook pages and a red pen, we're going to correct these together right now. Remember, these were not torn out. So if you tore them out, that's awesome. I decided that I'm going to leave them in here, and it's just because it keeps them in a safe spot. I know I won't accidentally throw it away and I won't lose it. And this is something I might want to hold on to anyways, because when I go over, like when I'm about to take the test, this is something I might want to review. So right now, have out your workbook pages and a red pen. We're going to make corrections, okay? So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go over some of the answers, or all of the answers. We're starting on 16-1, the reteach page. Okay, reteach page. So it should say reteach right here, okay? All right, so the first answer's done. We're already done for you. You should have just reviewed it and traced it. Let's go ahead and check out down below. Now remember, the hour hand is the shorter one and the minute hand is the longer one. And it will show you, and I know that we're eventually going to get into these. I think your guys' video talks about it anyways, but there will be times where the hour hand doesn't directly point to a number. So anytime from this marker, hold on, hopefully you can see this little mark. These little tally marks actually show the minutes. So remember, 7 represents 35. Let's just double check. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So this line pointing to the 7 represents 35 minutes. This one is 36 minutes. This one is 37. This one's 38. This one's 39. So then that makes number 8, 40. So that's what those little tally marks mean. When we would make those graphs, those line graphs, and we were jumping numbers, remember we talked about that we didn't want to label every number because it would take me forever. And in this case, I would have to label 60 numbers. So what we do is we just have the big one point to a main number that we can recognize. And then you guys just have to use your knowledge to count those little tally marks that follow that big number, okay? So as you can see, anything that falls between here is gonna, in this case, because this is the hour hand instead of minutes, the hour hand is a 7. So all of this number is considered the hour of 7, hour of 7, hour of 7, hour of 7, and then eventually when it hits 8, it becomes the 8th hour. So then same thing from here. And I hope you guys can see my mouse. This is the 8th hour. So any number, any of these little markers that it's the hour hand is pointing to is considered 8 until it reaches the 9. So what I mean by that, you guys don't really have the tally marks on your pink paper, but you have the tally marks on the white paper, the white little marker, okay? So what I mean is, let's say right here, everything that's pointing to the 1 is considered the hour of 1 hour, okay? So it's, my hour hand is 1, so everything represents 1. So it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then when it reaches the 12, it becomes, my hour is 12. So same thing. So, well, I totally went backwards on the clock. I'm sorry. So because my mirror is like so much more confusing, but so obviously the clock does not move this way. I apologize for that. Your clock is going to go this way. So it'd be 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. So the hour hand is always considered that number until it reaches the newest number. Okay, and it's kind of hard to see it on here because you don't have those tally marks. If you want to draw the tally marks, you technically could. But what I'm just going to basically show you on my side anyway. So let me continue sharing my screen. So remember, so all of these tally marks are considered the hour of 7 until it reaches 8. Okay, so in this case, your hour hand is 7 and the minute is pointing to the 3, so that's 7:15. Number 2, your hour hand is between the 10 and 11, so it's considered 10. So this is 10:40. Your hour hand is between the 1 and the 2. So remember, it's considered 1 until it hits 2. So this is 1:35. My hour hand is close to the 5, but it's not yet there. So it's still considered a 4. So this time is 4. And then the minute hand is on the 10. So that would be 50. So it is 4:50. Be very careful because if you look right here, the minute hand is considered actually pointing right here. It has not yet hit that 5. So that is why this is considered 4:50 and not 5:50. So be very careful. If you guys didn't understand that, please send me a message and I can review it with you. So those were your answers for 16-1 reteach. Here is 16-1 practice, okay? Once again, they had your number 1 done for you. Number 2, the hour hand is between the 1 and the 2. It's not yet to the 2, so it's considered 1:35. The hour hand is between the 8 and the 9, so it's considered 8. It has not hit the 9, so 8 and then 8:40. Your hour hand is between the 10 and the 11, so it's considered 10:25. Okay. Now number 5 says the time is 6:05. What number would the clock minute hand be pointing to on the clock? Now the hour hand is that first number, so the hour hand would be pointing to the 6. Now ask yourself, what number represents 5? And if you don't know, go back to your clock. And one way you could do it is just kind of flip over until you find it. So I found the 5, the 05 right here. Or you can always ask yourself, okay, which number represents 5? Well, 5. So your minute hand should actually be pointing to the 1. Okay. Let me see if I could show you that. What was that question again? 6:05. So let me show you guys what your clock would look like. The hour hand would be pointing to the 6, if not a little bit past the 6. Okay. I'm going to have it just point to the 6. I don't know if you guys saw. So this is what your clock would look like. It is 6, and the minute hand's pointing to the 1, which represents 05. So it is 6:05. So let's go check out some of our answer choices. And what number would the minute hand be pointing to? The minute hand would be pointing to the number 1. Okay. Number 6 says the clock shows the time I ate lunch. What time does it show? So the hour hand is almost to the 1. It's not pointing to the 1 yet. It's still considered the 12 because it technically is at this little tally mark right here. And the minute hand is at the 11. So it is 12, and then the 11 represents 55. So it's 12:55. And in this case, would you be eating it in the morning at close to midnight, or would you be eating it in the afternoon? So you should have chosen 12:55 p.m. because this shows that it's in the afternoon. You eat lunch in the afternoon, you do not eat it close to midnight. Okay, so make sure you're checking the AM and PMs. Look at the time on the first clock. What time will it be in 5 minutes? So first things first, you should have figured out what this time is right here. So remember, the hour hand is between the 3 and the 4, so it represents 3, and then the minute hand's on the 30. So it's 3:30. But the question doesn't ask me what time it is. They want to know what it's going to be in 5 minutes. So take 3:30 and add 5 minutes. 3:35 would have been your answer. Okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am now going to go into 16-2. Pull out 16-2 and your red pen. Okay, so 16-2, how about a red pen? Let's go over your answers. All right, so once again, the first part was done for you, but I'm going to go ahead and just get straight into the questions that you should have filled in, okay? Count by 5 to tell the time and write the time. So first of all, let's figure out the time. The hour hand is between the 3 and the 4, so it represents 3 because it has not hit the 4. So this time is 3, and the minute hand's on 6, so it is 3:30. 30 minutes after what hour? So they're saying that, remember, this is 30 minutes after. Well, the way that you can remember that is it's 30 minutes after this number. So it's 30 minutes after 3. Or another way of saying it is 3:30. Okay? Number 2, my hour hand is pointing closer to the 8, but I know it's 8 because it has not hit the 9. So it is 8:15. It is 15 minutes after 8. So the way that you can remember is it goes 8, then 15. So this 15 comes after the 8, so it's 15 minutes after 8. Or remember, the clock is considered a quarter right here, so you could tell me it's a 8:15. Okay, so you can always read it like you would a sentence. The 8, the colon, 15. So it is 15 minutes after the 8. Okay, the time is 6:10. Is the hour hand closer to the 6, or is it closer to the 7? Why? So let me stop share. 6:10. So my hour hand's pointing to the 6. My minute hand's going to be close, pointing to this 2, which represents 10. Now, it's kind of hard to show on here, so I'm actually going to show you on this clock right here. so you guys can see like the little markers and stuff. I'm so glad I brought this home. Okay, so what the question is asking you is, obviously when you're making a clock, you would point the hour to the 6 because you know it. But realistically, the hour hand does not always stay on the 6. It doesn't stay here and then all of a sudden jump to the 7 when it hits the next one. The hour hand has to slowly move as your minutes go. Okay, so the question is, if it was 6:10, is your hour hand gonna be closest to the 6 or closer to the 7? Now, remember, when it gets to the halfway mark, that means it's half the hour. Your hour hand actually hits the halfway mark too, halfway between the 6 and the 7. Well, in this case, it's still up here. It's still not even hitting the quarters. So in this case, your hour hand is gonna be a little bit past 6, but not too much. So let's go back to that question. The question says, is it closer to the 6 or the 7? Well, the answer is it's going to be closer to the 6 because in this case, they said 6:10 is almost 6 o'clock, so the hour hand is pointing closer to 6. You can also, well, the answer is it's closer to the 6. So as long as your answer says it's closer to the 6, you're fine. But your reasoning has to be, you know, I have to be able to understand it. So if you told me that it's closer to the 6 because it hasn't hit the halfway mark, I'm okay with that. If you didn't put that in, write it in now. In this case, they're saying because it's closer to 6 o'clock, it's only 10 minutes after 6 o'clock, it would be closer to the 6 anyways, okay? Now, basically, if it was 6:30, anywhere from 6:30 to 6:59, the hour hand will be closer to the 7, okay? Let's go ahead and get into your practice page. They already have number 1 done for you, but here's number 2. What is the directions? Write the time or draw the hands to show the time, then write the time before or after the hour. Okay, so number 2 is 1:30, and they told you it's 1:30. So this 30 is the halfway mark, okay? So it's half past, it's 30 minutes past this number. So it's 1:30 or 30 minutes past 1, okay? Number 3 says Joyce gets up at 10 minutes before 7 a.m. I would have underlined the word before to give me a hint. So she gets up 10 minutes before 7 a.m. What clock shows this time? Now, before you just look at the clocks, figure out what time it is. What's 10 minutes before 7? Okay. So if it's before 7, then I know for sure my hour is going to be the 6. Okay. Let's see if I can stop and show you guys. Let me erase my whiteboard. Oh, took me forever to do that. Okay. Now remember, they said it's 10 minutes before 7 o'clock. Okay. So I'm going to underline the word before because that's kind of a secret word right there. So if it's before 7, then I know that my hour must be in the 6s. Okay. Well, how many minutes are in an hour? There's 60 minutes. So what's 10 minutes before 60? The answer is 50. Okay. And just in case you want to double check my work, I'm going to pull out my clock. Okay. And I have the minute on o'clock. Well, 10 minutes before, this is 5 minutes before, this is 10 minutes before. So just like I said, it would be 6 pointing to the 10, and the 10 represents 50. Ugh. So that's me checking my work, okay? So let's go back to that page. So now that you know the time is 6:50, now you need to find the clock that says 6:50. So this clock right here is between the 6 and the 7, and it's pointing to the 10, which represents 50, so it is 6:50. Remember, another way you guys could do it is to use process elimination. Eliminate the answers you know for sure are not the case. If it's 10 minutes before 7, I know it cannot be 7, so I would eliminate B, and then I would keep going on. This one shows 7:10. Well, it said before 7, so it can't be C. So you guys definitely, I know that sometimes this can be a little bit challenging, but use those strategies that I've taught you for test taking. Eliminate some answers that you know for sure aren't it, and then it helps you guys reason a little bit better. Number 4 says, write 2 ways to say this time. Well, this time is 12:35, okay? You could tell me that it's 30 minutes after 12. It's 25 minutes before 1. The reason why they use 25 is if you add 25 minutes, it will be 1 o'clock. It will reach that 60-minute mark. So you guys can tell me it's 35 minutes after 12, or you can tell me how many more minutes until the next hour. So in this case, it's 25 minutes before 1 o'clock or 25 minutes to the next hour, okay? All right, so I'm gonna pause this for a second and then let's go over 16-3. Okay, so before I get into 16-3, you guys are not necessarily dealing with time. You're kind of moving into more of like a calendar setting. So before I go over this, I want to review the vocabulary words for you guys, okay? So here we go. Make sure you have out 16-3 and a red pen too, okay? Okay, so here are your vocabulary words. Yeah. So you guys know what a calendar is. You've been doing this since TK, if not kinder. A calendar will show me the month. I'll zoom in a little bit. It shows me the month on top. Think about the one that I had in my classroom. And then it would show me the days of the week, and it would show me the days in a month. So in this case, July is my month. Calendars tend to start on a Sunday. That's just considered the first part of the week. Obviously, a lot of us consider Monday, so it's debatable. But on a calendar, you're always going to see it start typically with a Sunday. So we have 7 days of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, I'd usually teach you guys a song for this, but I'm pretty sure you guys know it. I always do the Addams Family song, but a lot of my students, if you had gone to Whitman, I believe the kindergarten teachers teach you that, so use that song if you need to. And in this case, the first day of July starts on a Wednesday. I know it's super blurry, I apologize. It's the first of July starts on a Wednesday, and then if you count, July has 31 days. Okay, we learned that not every month has the same number, especially when we talked about February this year. We learned that this year is a leap year, so actually February had 29 instead of the typical 28. That was a Mystery Friday video, remember? But in this case, July has 31 days. And what's kind of cool about a calendar is you can always figure out what day it falls on. So, for example, if I wanted to figure out what day the 4th of July falls on, because that's my favorite holiday. So I would look for the 4th of July. So July, here's the 4th. And I know that in this case, it would fall on a Saturday. This is not the current year. So obviously we need to figure out the years. So that's another thing that a calendar will usually show is the year. Okay. So once again, a calendar shows days, weeks, months, and years. Something you guys need to know about a day. A day is equal to 24 hours. So that's kind of why we talked about a clock has, it goes around twice. It has the same number twice during the day because this is a clock of 12 hours. 12 plus 12 is 24. So there are 24 hours in a day. So what you need to know is 24 hours is equal to 1 day. It's going to be really important to remember that. A week represents 7 days. So we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay, those are 7 days in a week. So once again, there are 7 days in a week. That's something important to know. A month. So we have 12 months in the year. We have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So that represents 12 months. 12 months is in a year. Of 1 month, there typically tends to be 4 weeks, okay? So there's usually 4 weeks represent 1 month. 4 weeks, 1 month, okay? So that's a good way to remember that there's 4 weeks for you guys to earn dojo points to become dojo king or queen for that month. So that's always good to remember. And now year, because the year is the biggest, broadest way to represent the time of like, whether it's the days, the months, the hours, you're gonna have a lot more to remember. What that means is a year represents, 1 year is equal to 365 days. And you guys actually already know this because we did that Mystery Friday video. You guys also have access to my Mystery Friday videos. I've given you my password. So you guys can maybe even rewatch that one where he talks about leap year and calendar and stuff, because this actually is kind of a fun way to connect what we're doing for math this week. So 1 year is equal to 365 days. 1 year is equal to 52 weeks. 1 year is equal to 12 months. So you could tell me how it's equal to the days, weeks, or months of a year. So once again, there are 365 days, 52 weeks, and 12 months in 1 year, okay? So these are all the same. So you could tell me 365 days is equal to 52 weeks, 365 days equal to 12 months. You could tell me 52 weeks is equal to 1 year. Those are all equal, okay? Equivalent, the reason why they're using this fancy word, it's just another way of saying equal to. So when I just told you guys that 365 days is equal to a year. If I want to be a fancy second grader, I could say 365 days is equivalent to 1 year. It's just a fancier way of saying it, okay? So 1 day is equivalent or equal to 24 hours. And I'm not going to worry about data yet because we're not there. So let's go ahead and get into the reteach for 16-3. Before I get into that, I just kind of want to once again review the calendar because we could see this one a little bit better. The top will tell me the month. So this is considered the month of March. This one right here will give me my 7 days of the week. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. March has a total of 31 days. And the first day of March is on a Monday. Okay, it does not always start here because this right here would have represented the last day in February. And these blanks are considered what's after March as April. So these are April days. So that's why we leave those blank, just in case you guys are wondering. Wish we were at school so I could show you guys mine. All right, so I kind of need this calendar to answer my questions. Use the calendar and list to solve your problems, okay? There are 52 weeks in a year. There are blank days in a week, so there's 7 days. And we know that because I can count right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is the day after Wednesday? So I would go to Wednesday, and then the day after Wednesday is Thursday. And you guys know this if you've been calendar manager, that it always asks you to tell me today is, yesterday was, tomorrow will be. Okay, that's a good way to connect it. So if you've been calendar manager, I'm sure you're gonna do just great on this lesson. What day is the 16th of March? So I would go to my calendar, I would find the number 16, and then from here, hopefully you can see, I find the 16 and I'm just gonna follow up, and I know that 16th of March falls on a Tuesday. Let's see, what did they put? They said it's a Tuesday, okay? What is the day of the last Sunday in March? So let's go to my Sundays. And the 7th is on a Sunday, the 14th is on a Sunday, the 21st is on a Sunday, and the 28th. Which of these is the last one? The 28th is. So your answer should have been the 28th. What is the last month of December? I'm sorry, what is the last month of the year? They actually listed them here for you. You have January, there's 12. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So the 12 is considered the last. I'm sorry, December is considered the last. And that's why when we write our date, instead of me having to write January, I use the number 1 to represent January. I use the number 2 to represent February, 3 for March, 4 for April, 5 for May, 6 for June, July is the number 7, 8 for August, 9 for September, 10 for October, 11 for November, and then 12 is considered December. So we do that just to save us with having to write out those full months. So that's the reason why we do that when we write our calendar time or the calendar date in class, okay? Let's go ahead and get into the practice page. As you can see, they've given you a calendar of 12 months. Of these 12 months, you're gonna find 365 days. You're gonna find, if you count all the weeks, you're gonna find 52 weeks, or you're gonna find just simply 12 months. This is a whole year of a calendar, okay? So what month comes just before May? So you could find May right here, and then the month before is April, which is the month that we're in right now, okay, April. What month comes after August? You're gonna find August, and then the month after is September. What day of the week is December 3rd? Well, we need to first find December, which is right here, and then December 3rd is an S. Now, if you don't know what the S stands for, just go through it. We have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So December 3rd is a Saturday, okay? Sarah's birthday is in a month that has 5 Thursdays. Her birthday is on a Thursday and is the 23rd of the month. What month is her birthday? So these are tons of clues. So you guys need to put on your detector magnifying glass and you need to find out what the answer is, okay? So first of all, we need to figure out which month has 5 Thursdays. So here we can go. Let's find the T right here that represents Thursday. January only has 4, so it can't be January. February only has 4. March has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be March. So let's look at March and let's see if that's the answer. The second clue says that it has to fall on the 23rd. So are any of the Thursdays the 23rd? That does not work. Can't be April, there's only 4. Can't be May, there's only 4. June has 5, so let's go to that second clue. And it says the 23rd is on a Thursday. Ooh, it could be June, but I'm not gonna just go there. I need to check all mine. Okay, can't be July because there's only 4. It can't be August, there's only 4. September has 5, but it does not have a 23rd, and so on and so forth. So your answer for number 4 should be A, June. Okay, I'm going to stop this video and we're going to move on to 16-4. Okay, so you should have 16-4 out with your red pen. And then 16-4 is labeled equivalent times. Remember, equivalent is another way of saying equal. So equal time. So we're going to be talking about 2 things that are equal. Okay, so here we go. All right, your reteach page. So equivalent is another way to say the same as or equal to. There are different ways to say certain things. So for example, I'm just going to go over this so you get an idea. I could say 60 minutes is the same as 1 hour. And if I want to use a fancy second grade word, I can say 60 minutes is equal to or equivalent to 1 hour. 1 day is equal to 24 hours. 1 year is equivalent to 12 months. 1 year is equivalent to 52 weeks. When it comes to the year, remember, you can have a lot of things that it's equal to, okay? So you're telling me that a year is equal to certain months, certain days, certain weeks, and then certain hours. And we can even get into minutes, seconds, and so on. It gets crazy. But I think we're going to stick to like the basics this time, okay? Number 1 says Mario reads for 1 hour. Another way of saying 1 hour is 60 minutes. Remember, eliminate the answers you know are not true, okay? Aaron was on vacation for 7 days. Is 7 days equal to 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year? You should have circled 1 week. Debbie's family lived in California for 1 year. 1 week is not equal to 1 year. 7 weeks is not equal to 1 year. So your answer should have been 52 weeks. Okay. On the practice page, they even fill this in for you, and I hope you guys trace it because this is good for your memory. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. 1 day is equal to 24 hours. 1 week is equal to 7 days. 1 year is equal to 72 months. 1 year is equal to 52 weeks. And you can even tell me right here that 1 year is equal to 365 days. If you didn't do that, write that in now. So put right here, 1 year. And then right here, let's put 365 days because that's a really good strategy, a good tool for you guys to remember, okay? George went to art class for 1 hour. How many minutes was that? It was 60 minutes. And if you don't know, I can check right here. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Sorry. Oak School had classes for 36 weeks. Is that more than 1 year or less than? Well, a year is equal to 52 weeks. So is 36 less than 52 or is it greater than? Well, your answer should have been less than 1 year. David made muffins from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. How much time did he spend making muffins? Tell 2 ways. Well, from 2 to 4, so let's count. So we have 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So he cooked for 2 hours. What's a way that I could say 2 hours? You could tell me 2 hours or by minutes. So if we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, 60 minutes plus 60 minutes, so 60 plus 60 is 120. So you could tell me that 2 hours are 120 minutes, okay? You're just doing a lot more math. Lisa played on a soccer team for 2 years. How many months was that? Well, 1 year is 12 months. So she played for 2 years. So do 12 plus 12. So 12 plus 12 is 24. So that's where they get the 24 months from. Which 2 units of time are not equivalent? So which of these are not equal? Well, 1 week is not equal to 8 days. It's 7. So your answer should be B. That's pretty much it. You have, yeah, I'm leaving Fridays open for you guys to basically get all of your math done. I'm also leaving it for you guys. Ralphie's trying to say hi. I'm also leaving it for me spending the day kind of reviewing with you guys, saying hi. But what I need from you guys is I really need you guys turning in your digital quick checks and your videos. We have progress report cards coming out soon and then eventually report cards. I am letting you guys know right now, they did walk us through how we're going to be doing report card grades, and effort is one of them. So if you're not doing your classwork, you're not going to get a good grade for effort. So if you're having a hard time finding anything online or finishing something, you need to let me know as soon as possible, because when your grades come out, I don't want to hear about it then. Okay. You guys really are doing an amazing job. I'm extremely proud of you. So make sure that you guys are continuing to turn in your work, do everything online, check in with me on Zoom, because if you're not understanding something, it's a great time. The way that I'm going to end this lesson is I had brought, I'm so glad I brought some of this stuff home. I have clocks, some fun looking clocks that tell a certain time. I'm going to show, let's do 3 of them. Okay. I'm going to show a clock, and then I want you guys to figure out the time. So the way that you're going to have to play this game, because I'm obviously recording it, is I'm going to show the clock, pause my video, figure it out, and then when I tell you your answer, see if you had the same answer as me. Okay. All right, so here we go. Remember, you need to make sure you're going to pause the video. Let's start with this clock. Okay. All right. Here is a clock. It's kind of a little wonky. You can see the hour hand and the minute hand almost look like wands. Maybe this is a Harry Potter clock. Okay. Pause my video. What time is it? All right. So hopefully you pause it, okay? Your hour hand is between the 11 and the 12. It is not yet to the 12, so it's considered 11. And the minute hand's on the 6, so it is 11:30. So if you said 11:30, awesome job. Let's do another one. Oh, let's do this cute one. Here's a ladybug one, okay? All right, so here's my ladybug. Hopefully it's okay. Pause my video. What time is it? All right, your hour hand is between the 7 and the 8, so it's considered 7. It's not yet to the 8. The minute hand is at that quarter part. It's at the 3, so it is 7:15. Awesome job if you got it done. All right, last one for all my friends that are missing baseball. Okay? All right, here we go. Here's a baseball clock for you guys. Okay, don't worry about this. This is actually for the clock on the back. Okay? What time is it? Pause my video and figure out the time. All right, your hour hand is between the 8 and the 9. It is not yet to the 9. So remember, the hour hand is smaller than the minute hand. So this time is 8, and your minute hand is pointing to the 9. So what time is it? Okay, if you said 8:45, you were awesome. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys are enjoying this. Maybe during my Zoom videos, if you guys join, maybe we'll do some of these little cards, and maybe I'll give you guys some dojo points. We have, the month of April is almost over, and after April is May. So I still have to award Dojo King and Queen for April. Here's Ralphie. All right, dude, just say hi. Tell them hi. All right, so remember to get your dojo points in, because April Dojo King and Queen are going to be announced next week. Other than that, if you guys are really struggling with this math, you need to let me know. But I hope you guys have a great Friday, a fantastic weekend. It's going to be pretty warm this weekend, so stay hydrated, get some sunscreen on if you guys do go outside. And I just want to let you guys all know I love you and I miss you. Have a good day.